Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Kia EV9. This is a test vehicle that I've had for the week, so I'm going to talk about what it's like to actually live with one of these. Before we get into this video though, as always, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Now, being fully electric, we've got a front storage space, and well, since we don't have an engine to look at, let's go over the EV specs with the front trunk. 379 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, dual electric motor setup, 99.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack, 270 miles of electric driving range. Before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you can see the Kia logo front and center, and then popping down below, really interesting with the turn signal indicators there, and the overall headlight design on the EV9 is pretty cool looking. Closed off here on the front end so you can pick up plenty of bugs there, but that's EV's rights to help with aerodynamic efficiency, and overall for an electric car I think it's really good looking. So around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285 by 45 by 21 in the front and over in the rear, and I will say the wheel design on the EV9 is really cool. It's mostly closed off for aerodynamic efficiency, but it also just looks like big and chunky, and I don't know, pretty cool overall. Got these huge painted fender flares. You can see that painted trim continues on the side, and then also the window trim is painted as well, and so overall it gives it a very premium look. And this leads us over to the key fobs. You can see the Kia logo. We have our lock and unlock function. Locks at the top. And then we've got the opening for the hatch. On the other side, you can see remote start. We've got the self-park feature. And then you can see the opening for the frunk. So it's got buttons for everything. I will say, having the buttons on the side, the one downside is I'll press the button here, but then I have the back of my hand on the other side, and so I'll accidentally press the button on the other side. So it's kind of like you gotta finagle the key fob a little bit to actually use the buttons because they're on the side. Now popping into the rear, just like most three-row SUVs, not massive behind the third row, but it's adequate when it comes to storage space. You can throw the third row down for more space with the EV9. You can see the outlet here, and then to fold down the second row. The third row is just manual with the fold down function. And then notice this is for the hatch. You like lift up a button to close. It's very interesting. Got the 12 volt back there too. And then don't worry, you have a normal button up top too if you want to lower the hatch down the regular way. Now taking a look at the taillights here, really cool with the design. You can see GT-Line down below. And again, overall, with styling for an electric car, I think that Kia did a really good job. Now taking a look at the door panel, you can see we've got the sunshade here, built in from the factory. Kind of like soft touch trim here at the top. Got that trim that goes across to the door handle. We've got heated and ventilated seats here for the second row, and then you can see the padding down below. And then here are these seats. Pretty cool trim. You've got all of your adjustments here on the side. So pretty fancy. I'll pop in quickly. Legroom back here is good. Got a little storage pocket. Got some cup holders there. And then you can see the storage container here. This is so over-engineered. My God. Look at this thing. Yeah. That is interesting to kind of use, but yeah. We do have quite a bit of headroom here in the back. We also have a sunroof in the back as well. And then as for the third row, you can see nice trim on the seats. You can fit back there. You got like a flat floor all across, which is nice. But again, I'd reserve it for kids, just like most SUVs in this segment. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you can see with the soft touch and the trim that goes across. And then we've got our heated and cooled seat function, memory seat function, all that fancy stuff. Also massaging seats with this, very interesting. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We've got all of our window controls. The mirrors do power fold in. And then here are the front seats. Headrest is very interesting, but nice trim all down the center. And you can see the adjustments and everything, and you got lounge mode as well. And then pretty nice looking pedals. We've got the opening for, if it'll focus, hocus pocus, there we go. For the front trunk, you've got the rear trunk as well, of course. Steering wheel's power adjustable. Now this is kind of weird to do the turn on function. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice trim all around. It's got this kind of like a two-spoke design. I guess you could say four-spoke in a way. But anyways, you got your 4-wheel drive lock, you got your drive mode on the steering wheel as well. Paddle shifters there in the back for the regen system. Normal practical controls in the front, including voice command, volume controls. You got adaptive cruise control, lane centering, and all of that. And there are quite a few stalks on the back because this does have a column shifter that also contains the function to turn the car on and off. Like I said, interesting. So full digital gauge cluster here. You've got the pages button to scroll through different bits of information on systems within the car, and then the drive mode select also the screen. Pretty cool. So overall, like I said, pretty easy system to use. And then just like most EVs, you get more range than what the EPA states. So I've been getting closer to like 300 miles rather than the 270 that this states to only have. So in reverse, we do have a 360 camera system, and this is pretty cool if you ask me. Got the fun exterior shot. Good resolution overall. And then as for the infotainment system, it's quick to respond, easy to use. And then you have the climate controls that are easily accessible on that part of the screen, so I think that's a big plus. Nice trim all across the dash. You can see down below kind of with the design. And they do have some physical buttons for the climate control here, which will actually increase the temp a little bit so it calms down with the fan. Got some charging ports there. And then this is very interesting. So this kind of wraps around. Looks very spaceship-like to me. You got the over-engineered cup holders, so those pop out. And then you have your hill descent control randomly in the middle of all of this for like auto hold, and then your camera button, parking sensors. And then wireless phone charging pad with the center console. And then you can see the more storage space down below. And then it does have the fancy fingerprint scanner, it looks like. Pretty big glove box. It is lined with felt, which is cool. And then we do have a camera rear view mirror. And then you've got a sunroof up front, and then nice headliner. Now normally this is where I show you the MSRP, but this is the window sticker that I got with this GT-Line. It literally says 0 for the price. I think this is a pre-production car, so maybe that's why. If I remember right, this is somewhere in like the 70s for the MSRP for GT-Line. It's up there, but it's fancy, right? Anyways, let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before you set off. Over the hood, heads-up display, both the mirrors. Throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off in the EV9. Like I said, I've been living with this for the week, so I've got some, you know, impressions on what it's like to actually live with, right? So the first thing I'll mention is it drives really well. Great ride quality. It's quiet. I would call this a luxury car with how this drives. And because it's an EV, has low center of gravity, you know, again, all the weight's down at the bottom, it helps out with that ride quality, and it helps out with the just kind of overall feel as you're driving through places. And the power delivery is really smooth, being fully electric. So again, I think that all kind of comes together to do the luxury car thing, and quite well, if you ask me. Even though it is, you know, just a quote-unquote Kia at the end of the day. Now in terms of like the practicality, in the back's actually pretty good. I did a Home Depot trip with this. I've been quite busy with some yard work at the old house, and I mean it fit everything just fine. Bunch of gravel and some wood chips, and yeah, it did it just fine. And then, you know, the self-driving stuff, I feel like nobody's really made any big improvements over the last little bit. They're all pretty much in the same boat, if you ask me. Where they're not bad by any means. Nobody's really bad with the self-driving. They're just not, I don't know. They're not really all that self-driving as it is. Basically, it'll keep it in the lane as long as the roads are fine, right? Like a road like this that's super dirty, it's not going to do too bad, but it might struggle to detect some of the lines here and there. Some of these roads out here are so weird. Okay, so I guess I'm good. But yeah, you guys get the point. It's an interesting situation. You can see the power delivery is just effortless. And you know, like most EVs, again, the 0 to 60 is crazy. Once you're above that, this still pulls pretty hard, but it's not insane by any means. So overall, EV9 as an electric family SUV. I don't know what I'm going to title this video. Maybe like Environmentalist Family SUV. Who knows? I think it does a good job though as an electric SUV. comfortable, it drives well, it looks cool, it's got the 3-row practicality, and it's got good range for an EV. And it's not an insanely big battery pack. Again, it's almost 100 kilowatt hours, so that is a pretty big battery pack, but you know, it's not too crazy. If you don't have an upgrade, one thing I will say is if you don't have an upgraded outlet, yeah, charging this is definitely going to be a bit of a chore. But so long as you have an upgraded outlet, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. And you know, fast charging, obviously that's a whole different thing. Also, turn signal camera, I forgot to mention that. That's a pretty cool feature. So yeah, I like it. I think that Kia did a good job with this 3-row electric SUV, and I hope more electric cars have, oh, this is what I'm talking about, the acceleration. I hope more electric cars have this boxy styling, because in my opinion, this works really well.